Scorpio, this is your weekly tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. It is for Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Guys, do not be surprised if this is a very intense and personal week for you. I will go over the astrology. Let's get into the cards. Please remember that there is always an extended reading that I create, and I hope that all of you will join me. Those links are below in the description box, right at the top, and I will also pin it to the top of the comment section. You also have the option of joining the Unbound membership. I have channel memberships now, and I am happy to offer them. The Unbound membership is the specialized membership that gets you access to all of the extended readings, all of the content unique to bornwithoutboundariestarot.com memberships that nobody else gets to see, and all of the other perks. So check that out. If you want to join me for daily tarot card readings, I have a second YouTube channel called Astrology Motivation. I'll attach the link above here that you can click on it after you've watched this video, and hopefully you'll join me today for my live reading. All right, so, okay. We'll start with the aspects, okay, so that you guys know what I'm talking about. There has been a long-lasting aspect between Pluto and Neptune, and that is a sextile. And it's a very spiritual sextile between those two planets. A sextile is a really harmonious interaction, and it's a very progressive interaction. So this is about basically deep digging into your sense of almost like an esoteric exploration of who you are. And what really, really exaggerates that right now is that Pluto, or I should say, the Sun is trying to Pluto, and it will be this whole week for you. And as we draw to the end of the week, you'll see that two energies start to join the Sun. Mercury, which is in a very loose conjunction by the end of this week. And then Venus, which is technically not in full conjunction with the Sun, but she's getting there. The fact that all of those energies are piling up toward this week is telling me that there is a huge, almost like enlightenment awakening internally that's happening to you. Now, how that's going to play out and what might be the external triggers as to how that's going to happen, we're going to dig into the card. All right. Time for a beginner mind. Porcupine is always prepared. And the truth is this, Scorpio. Porcupine energy is more prepared than you think. And he's a little creature. I don't even know technically what it is, if it's a rodent, what kind of animal, mammal it is, but the truth is this, quietly and silently, porcupine is feared because the damage that its defensiveness can do to another creature is, it's life-threatening. You know, I mean, and it's slow and painful. And porcupine is far away from the animal by the time it eventually dies from the infection and bacteria that the needles have caused. And this is for one reason and one reason alone. This is because he was trying to defend himself. You know, he didn't want to get eaten himself. Porcupine is very lucky in this sense because porcupine doesn't necessarily know the outcome of not being eaten himself. And because he is not a creature that is prone, this is all metaphoric by the way, not scientific. Well, it's kind of a mix of the two. Because a porcupine is not a meat eater, there's no desire for him to kill anything. That's why the needles were designed to just keep creatures away. He's not trying to kill, he's trying to protect. But there is this energy and this knowing and understanding with a conscious energy like you that defensiveness can sometimes cause greater pain than you were trying to escape from. It can cause greater suffering. And this desire to defend yourself can actually create a space around you because others are now afraid to connect with you. I don't want that to happen to me. So even though maybe I'd like to get to know Porcupine, how the hell do I know if he's going to react, how he's going to react to me? So there is something on the other side of effective defense. And that is preemptive, the response of preemptive defense. I don't want to get near that thing because I could die from what it does to me. Now, please follow the metaphor. But this is something that I think you're going to be diving really, really deep into. Whale spirit, trust the great mystery. The wonderful thing about this week, Scorpio, is that you are ready to dive into and see what your psyche already knows. It means the waters are loose. So often we compare Scorpio to ice. Well, this is telling me that it isn't ice, it is fluid water now. And in a very good way. I think it was loosened up a lot by the Pisces full moon. And this conjunction that's happening around the sun, I think, is really demanding the understanding, the attention, and it's giving sort of the sense of self, your understanding of self, the superpower to really dig in real deep and not be afraid, but instead be curious about, where could my suffering be coming from? Where could my isolation be coming from? So often we don't understand these things, but there's almost like it's almost like it's cracking. Things are cracking open and finally flowing out. And it's so relieving. It's a beautiful energy of just that sick not being contained or held onto anymore. So really diving into, and maybe in some ways listening to this act as if chameleon spirit tells me that you're getting some intel, some information. So information might be coming to you in ways that were not intended for your ears. But it's those ways, that information that's making you realize something. And there's a pause. There's a pause and a real listener to this energy about, I just want to be heard, or I want somebody to hear me, I want somebody to listen to me, or there is something to listen to. And I think it's happening both ways this week. I think that you are the listener initially, and then there is the courage or bravery to go and believe that somebody will listen to you, which means you have begun the process of reconnecting. You have begun the process of being able to trust that, people can be around you and won't run in fear, right? Or this could be your experience with somebody else. But all of these energies lead up to a new start. And I think in some ways there's this energy of, I'm just going to try to blend in. I'm just going to try to blend in and act like everybody else acts, because the truth is I don't want to be left out anymore. It's not about the abandonment of the self or acting, like pretending like you're someone you're not, but it's almost like mimicry, like the chameleon. I'm going to mimic to help myself understand how it feels to do something that I've never done before or haven't done in a very long time, because I'm just beginning to open up. I'm just beginning to, be in this room and have people look at me or see me again. There is the very beginning this week, Scorpio, of a beautiful debut in your life to a place that you've been before but got broken from. A skill or trait that you used to have or enjoy that got broken away from you for defensive purposes, but now you're able to, touch it again, or put on the shoes again, or at least stand in the room and, okay, I'm going to go through the motions because I don't really remember. This is similar to if you loved motorcycles, but you got into a horrible motorcycle accident. the first time you would get back up on that bike again after getting your leg reconstructed, you know, getting your shoulder reconstructed, you know, having surgery on your brain and surviving it. And of course, there's fear that comes from that recovery, and it's time that is required away from the situation in order to recover. But it's like you touched a bike again, and you may have to like watch other people for a second to remember, you know, do I feel comfortable in the seat, or how are they climbing on, or, you know, not that you've forgotten, but you need help remembering. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. Life is a mystery. I was looking for answers and I got this card. So this card is speaking of embracing the unknown. Realizing that when even your tarot card reader can't break through the mist, but all I can do is tell you guys that, Scorpio, for you this week, looking the unknown in the eyes and accepting a lack of control is the most brave thing that a Scorpio can do. It's also a way to immediately connect to the courage that absolutely lives inside of you, deep, deep inside of you. This courage that it will become completely unleashed once you tap into relinquishing control and looking the unknown in the eye. And I don't know what's going to happen, and I am scared. We've talked about this before. I call it walking on shaky legs. But you're walking. You're up. You're getting there. The confrontation of the pride that has to happen the first time you get back up onto that motorcycle, and knowing that I used to fit in here, I used to be so good at this, and then I was shaken, and the trauma of the car crash and the surgeries and all the pain and suffering that has to do with facing your vulnerability and your weakness and getting back up and working through, like, the act of courage, or the continued acts of courage that are required to even have gotten to this moment, absolutely necessitate your believing in everything that you are, so that you turn that key again. It is scary, but you are worth it. Whatever this key may be for you, whatever your motorcycle is this week, I guarantee you that the unknown is nothing compared to what you have already gone through to get to where you are. And you did not come this far to only come this far. You came this far to get to this moment. And it's a very precious and a very special moment in your life where you have got to, and this is the key to this reading right now, you have got to embrace. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm afraid. I'm still thinking about what's happened to me in the past. It's taking me all my energy in the world to not porcupine and act defensively and reject anything behind me, thinking that it will kill me, it wants to eat me, I'm going to be hurt. It's taking everything that I am to keep my spikes in and to believe that I don't need them. that in this moment I am actually going to be safe and all good. And part of that might be looking around and seeing other people are laughing. Other people are celebrating, other people are enjoying themselves. And even though you may not be completely fully in with it yet, you're learning to trust your environment. And realize I'm limited here. I am a little handicapped in this situation. Yeah. But I'm going to trust that there are other people, that their cues, and if something was wrong, they would alert me that this fear that I am feeling may just be the fear from the fear that I've felt. Us water signs have that disability and magic, I guess it's both, where what we'll do is we can actually feel the past as if it's happening right now, which is why we tend to live in the past so much. So this is that absolutely brilliant crown chakra opening. And I started out this reading, I told you guys, this is a week of enlightenment for you. Being able to reach outside of your own intuition, which is based on experiences. And it's an exceptional tool, which is why water signs are so finely tuned to it, because we are so great at processing and putting into order the past. That's why our intuition is so on point, but it's still based on your experiences. You need to step outside of your experiences to see and believe and know and understand and reach for and trust in what has not happened yet. And that is scary for you, especially after whatever's happened, to bring you to this point. And so it is you connecting to the Almighty and the Divine, and that's that sextile to Neptune, that is going to give you the capabilities to connect to what you have not experienced yet. What you do not know and what you do not understand, and that means that you had to be brave enough to be the student. You had to be brave enough to come all the way back down, even if you're 50 years old, to start where you were when you were 5 again. And that takes courage in itself, because you got to put your pride to the side. Be like, okay, I need help again. But think about this not as something to be ashamed of, because shame might be a caveat this week that you have to face. Right? Think about it as I'm not being ashamed of that, but looking at it as recovery. I mean, if you were outside looking at a person who was learning to walk again because of a terrible attack or injury, would you think they had anything to be ashamed of? No, you would not. You would be the first person cheering them on. You must do that for yourself this week. You have to do that for you. And that is what this week is about. And it's a huge cathartic process that will be small and quiet and very personal. But it will be profound. The energy is gaining momentum. That is encouragement from the divine for you guys. You can't make this shit up. There are over 50 cards in this deck. I'm not a magician. I don't have sleight of hand. This is the one that fell out for you? Read it. And feel free to comment below. I know a bunch of you are already commenting already, and I'm grateful for it. It's time to release negativity. The energy is gaining momentum, which means you've been working on this for a while. And now it's time. Also a sense of you can feel the momentum that you have created. It's you. You have created the momentum with the choices you've made up till now. You can feel yourself starting to be sucked into the future. Well, guess what? That's why you don't have to be scared of the unknown, because you've actually created it. with the momentum that you created. And that's why you can trust it. Because it may not be out of experience, but it is out of what you have created. Ride the wave that you have generated. Let's go to the extended. I will see you guys there.